Welcome to The Pulse. With us now is Margie Gonzalez, Chair and Convener of the Phil-Am Dems of Clark County. Margie, thank you for joining us today here at The Pulse.
Good afternoon, Jessica and Maribel. Thank you for having me here in your very informative program.
Congratulations on the formation of the Filipino American Democratic Caucus of Clark County. You just started a few weeks ago, correct?
Yes, that's right. August 14th to be exact.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you came up with the Democratic Club.
Okay, I've always been politically active, even when I was still in the Philippines. So when I first got here in the U.S., in San Francisco, I was not politically active. I decided to just be just be a wife to my husband. But then we moved here to Nevada, here in Las Vegas, in 2002. The political itch is back there. I've been thinking about it until finally I decided to be active again in 2008. And from there, I started being a volunteer first, and then continued on to becoming, a precinct captain, and then delegate to Clark County, and then the state. And then in 2014, I became the chair of the AAPI, or the Asian American Pacific Islander Democratic Caucus. That was 2014 to 2018, so 4 years or 2 terms. And then from there, so other chair also came after me. Then the AAPI DC moved on to be statewide, so moved out of Clark County and leveled up to the state party. So now that's why there's like something missing here in Clark County, AAPIs. So where the Filipinos belong. So I felt that there is a need for representation. At least we start with the Filipinos, but we will also include other Asians too. So that's why I established this Filipino American Democratic Caucus. We're the most in numbers in the API community.
That's wonderful. So tell us what the possibility is among Filipinos who live in the U.S. as a voting bloc. Are we there yet, or are we ever going to get there?
I don't think so. I've been very active politically in the Philippines too before I came here. Filipinos are so used to multi-party system. We have all the freedom to choose, who we want, regardless of party, actually. Even in one family alone, in one home, it cannot even be a block. I'll give you a perfect example. During the time when Bongbong, Lenny, Isko, Pacquiao, they were all running as president, in my own family, they're not even a block, because my sister, the mom was for Isko, and the son was for Bongbong, and one daughter was for Lenny.
Right. They're canceling each other's votes.
Yeah. So not even in one home can be a block. So imagine that in the entire Philippines. So the only, probably, if it's based on religion, maybe, like Iglesia Ni Cristo is the perfect example. Once their leader says, we will vote this candidate, everybody who belongs to that, to that faith, votes for that. So that is a voting block. But on the religious side, but not freely on, as a community, or as Filipinos in general. So although we are very passionate about elections, but we really are so used to having choices, and we have our own choice. We have the freedom to choose our candidate, and we bring that over here. Same thing. it cannot be that all the Filipinos around the country will be voting for the same candidate. Even here in Las Vegas, I have friends who are from a different party than mine. We're not fighting, we're friends, but we vote freely on who we want. We just respect each other's choice. So, yeah, so I don't see it coming at all in the near future, you know. So, yeah, I think we are so used to being free, having that freedom of choice.
There are comments from some Filipino leaders in the U.S. who say that it is normal for Filipinos to have a culture of conformity and not challenge status quo, as to just be content that we have few representations in the government. So also, that is rare and seldom for Filipinos in the U.S. who have a voice in leadership with a fighting spirit. So are there some truths to this? And what can your organization do to make that change?
Okay, on the first part of your question, Filipinos have a tendency to be quiet or not be very vocal, okay? But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are conforming, okay? It's just that Filipinos in general, we have other priorities. We seem to do more of what is our personal priorities. So for example, I think they would rather make sure that they have food on the table, there's food in their groceries in their pantry, or they have money to send to the Philippines. It's like, as long as they have those needs and comforts, they would rather just stay out of it, you know. But it doesn't mean they're not, they are not interested with what's happening around the country or what's going on in the political world. They're actually in tune. They're watching. They're watching at home. They're talking to their friends and families and relatives. They are talking of issues, but not really to be publicly out there. But they know that they have their strength when it comes to election time. They know that their vote is powerful, so they make sure that they vote. Okay, as I've said, they seem to cater more for their personal priorities or family priorities. Mm-hmm. It's like saying, I have other things to do, you know, than be out there and speaking out. Okay, maybe they will also say, oh, there are other people doing that. Let them do that. You know, I'll take care of other things. But in this current situation, okay, let's face it, there's an atmosphere of fear somehow that has been sown currently, okay? So a lot more of our kababayans would rather not participate in public outcry, in public voice, because there's some kind of fear that has been sown and they feel it. So that's why the more they would rather stay out of being very vocal, and I mean publicly vocal. And they just make sure their family or themselves are doing all right, have a roof above their head, have food on the table, and have money to send back home. So that's what I could say. Now, as on the other part of your question, what will the organization that I formed, okay, during our launch, the battle cry, actually, our biggest mission, and we announced it there, because there's a lot of members of our party that actually moved out and became independents or non-partisan. So what we are aiming to do is be able to get them back, convince them, because of everything that's going on, we need you back. That's the only way. That's the only way we could be able to survive this. the strength in numbers. So that day, actually, that day during the launch, there are actually 3 there who actually came back. They registered again, back to being Democrats, and I announced them. They were there that night. So, and that's just a start, meaning we aim to have so much more of them. Before, what happened was, formerly it was just Democrats and Republicans, okay? And there's very little independence. But the numbers became so big that it became like 1/3 Democrat, 1/3 Republican, and 1/3, independent. So that means it's not just the Democrat moving to becoming independent. It's or nonpartisan. It's also the Republican Party too. So that's why those are big in numbers. So those are the people that we hopefully, be able to convince to go back home, return home. Yes. And that night we started with the first 3, and we aim to do, to have much more of them.
So there are few Filipinos or of Filipino descent who run for public office. In Clark County or statewide, there are only 3 elected officials that I know of, like Assemblywoman Erica Masca, University Regent Aaron Bautista, and Clark County Treasurer Ken Diaz. Why do you think Filipino Americans shun away from running for public office?
I'm one of those. I'm guilty of that too. A lot of people have asked me, Margie, when are you going to run? Yeah, so many people have asked me that because they think that I'm overly ripe already to run. But as I've said earlier, there are other priorities that, I'm one of those. I have other priorities. And one of my biggest priorities is actually to help candidates win. Meaning, that is something that I know I am very skillful. I know I have a lot of experience in being able to help candidates win. It's just like, although I'm just one person, but I am not just one vote. I can bring in so many votes. And so that's why I think I can be more useful helping other candidates to win. Now, regarding Filipinos running, this is something that I heard coming from some Democratic leaders from another state, actually. Expect a lot of Filipinos to run during the midterm. So that means that's next year. Next year is the midterms. They were just all focused on the presidential election last year. So that's why they were not thinking of whoever they are who are qualified to run. They would rather just focus on the presidential elections last year. But it's a different story next year. That's midterm elections. And as I've said, what I learned was that a lot of Filipinos will be running all around the country. Not just here, not just in California or the nearby states, really around the country. So I am looking forward to that. I am hopefully that's what they told me is something that will become a fact, and we'll see them in numbers. There's a lot of Filipinos who are really qualified, honestly. We have more like mayors, Filipinos who are mayors now. One in Daly City that I know. There's in Texas also. There's a former mayor like from Artesia in California. So we have, the Attorney General also in California is Filipino. That's another one. So So yeah, I can't wait to see that happen next year. I'm looking forward to next year.
For Filipino Americans who run for office and comes out with a meager performance during election, is it possible that they or their handlers don't understand the usual pathway to victory? What do you think, Margie?
You know, there's so many reasons. It's not just one reason that they don't make it. Okay, one is they are running in the wrong party. They might be more popular in another party, or they have so many friends in the other party, not in the party where they actually is registered. You know, that is one. The other one is they might also have chosen the wrong campaign manager. Maybe not somebody who really understands us, you know, as a Filipino, who does not understand really our culture and does not know exactly the area where the person is running. So that could also be a reason. It could also be wrong timing. That has happened to one Filipino candidate here running in the wrong district, didn't make it there, but ran in a different district because it just so happened that she moved with family to a different district and she made it there. Okay, so really it's it's not just one reason. It's not the person being Filipino. No, it's many reasons, as I've said. There's one who ran in the wrong party, and there's one who actually would have probably made better if it was a different campaign manager. And as I've said, the timing also. Timing in a sense that maybe that person needs to do so much more first in the community where, or in the area where she or he is running. Maybe that place is not, it's like nobody knows her or nobody knows him. Okay, so it's maybe she needs to do more so that she or he will be known, be popular. You know, the name would be known by people who live there. I don't know, maybe also, let's say you are running in a place wherein it's an entirely or majority is of a different community. Let's say a majority will be, let's say, African American people, and then you are running, and there's also, and your opponent is African American. So then, you know, you expect that they would, you know, they would support their own, you know. So that's also another reason. So sometimes, as I've said, aside from the location, it's really the timing. Maybe if they waited for maybe one more, or 2 more years, maybe that would be the right timing. As long as those 2 years is you are doing something, especially civic work. If you're doing civic work, people would know that, especially they see, oh,
so staying visible.
Yes, yeah. She's very. The person is very visible, doing community work, doing a lot of help to, you know, to the people in the neighborhood, people not just in that neighborhood, even outside her own neighborhood, his or her own neighborhood. Yeah.
So we're almost out of time for the show. Any last words from you?
Okay. Thank you for having me here, and I hope I was able to contribute or provide some important information with the answers that I provided you. And I would like to announce that I also founded the Las Vegas Filipino Short Film Festival, and we are now in our third year. This coming October 24, 25, and 26 are the 3 days of the film festival. So I hope they'll watch out for it. It's going to be at the Galaxy Theaters at the Boulevard Mall here in Las Vegas. And we are very excited because last year we had 9 countries who participated. It's open not just for Filipinos, but even non-Filipino filmmakers, as long as the subject matter has something to do with the Philippines. So I hope to see you there at the Galaxy Theaters Boulevard Mall, October 24, 25, 26.
Thank you, Tita, for being here. Until next week, please join us again for another edition here at The Pulse. I'm Maribel Villanueva.
And I'm Jessica Rolla. Thank you, and God bless your week.
Don't waste your money on CBD. Now hold on, don't turn the video off. If you're already taking CBD, good for you. You're on a good path, but there's a much better way. If you're thinking, should I try CBD? Let me answer a couple of questions that might help you make the decision to even try a CBD product. First of all, let's answer the question, what is CBD and where does it come from? CBD is cannabidiol. It's called a cannabinoid, and it's found naturally in many different plants. In fact, as you see here in the Cannabicae family, there's hops, sandalwood, hackberry, of course, hemp, even marijuana, but we're not talking here about marijuana. In fact, we're going to be talking about hemp. As I started to mention, CBD can be found in hemp, in rather high levels, as a matter of fact. But here's the problem. CBD is not the only cannabinoid you can find in hemp. Hemp contains over 100 different cannabinoids. In fact, in the Cannabicae family, hemp contains the highest level of cannabinoids of any plant, which is why it's the most popular source for CBD. But as I mentioned, CBD is only one of the cannabinoids that you can find in hemp. Hemp contains high levels also of CBC, CBG, and CBN. So why would we want CBC, CBD, CBG, and CBN? Well, as we look at the benefits here from CBD alone, you can see these benefits are great. I mean, who wouldn't want these benefits, right? But let's look at the benefits you can get from CBC. You see, they compound with CBD and offer yet even more. But then let's also now look at CBG. CBG has even more benefits. So naturally, anybody looking for the maximum benefit you can derive from hemp would want CBC, CBG, and CBD. But don't stop there. CBN also has fantastic benefits. So if you're looking for a great hemp product and you're contemplating trying a CBD product, don't just buy CBD. And please, don't buy that cheap gas station grocery store stuff. It's just that, cheap, and it won't benefit you at all. But if you can get a high grade, medical grade in fact, hemp product that contains CBC, CBD, CBG, and CBN, now you are unleashing the full power of your body that can only happen if you have all 4 of these cannabinoids in your body. If you're taking CBD, you're getting roughly 1/4 of the benefit that hemp can give you. Well, fourth is better than nothing, I suppose, but when you want 100% of all the benefits that hemp can give you, that is what happens if you take CBD with CBC, CBG, and CBN. So now you're probably asking, well, where on earth do I get all 4 of those? The problem now is solved. CBX4 contains high levels, not trace levels, and this is very important, contains high levels of all 4 of these cannabinoids, which means every benefit we listed up until now is available to you naturally in CBX4 and only in CBX4.
With the many recent changes and focus on immigration law, now more than ever is the time to seek the help you need from an attorney you can trust. As an immigrant myself, I know the many difficulties and hardships involved in immigrating to this great country. With more than 10 years of experience in handling immigration cases, our firm can provide the necessary answers and solutions to your needs. Call Calderon Law today so we can work together to help you get the peace of mind you and your loved ones deserve.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.